the most fun I've had in a car in a very, very long time. It's 1.4. I thought I'd tell you now because this review could be a little bit one-sided. I am completely in love with this car, and I should also say that I've not really driven many modern hot hatches. I've had kind of a fun time with 106 GTIs and Fiesta STs of yesteryear, but modern ones I've not really driven too many, so I don't really have a reference point. But wow, look at this thing. It has to be the coolest looking hot hatch on the market. Abarth have always made really discreet changes to the exterior. Born over 70 years ago, and with over 10,000 individual race victories, 10 world records and 133 international titles, and it's perhaps no surprise considering the founder, Carlo Abarth, was a 5-time European motorcycle champion by the time he was 26. This is made even more impressive by the fact he hand-built all of his own bikes. Some of that engineering nous might have rubbed off. The original 595 broke 6 international records in its first year of production and went on to claim nearly 900 individual race victories by 1965, which is why the modern 595 has big boots to fill. Its tiny little frame is of course based on the 500, but it's instantly obvious by the clothes that it's wearing that this is a different animal. The car is lower than the 500. It has aggressive side skirts, grills, a diffuser. It also has nearly 50% more horsepower than the top of the range 500. But the question remains, how does it drive? Well, very good. The steering is accurate and there's great visibility, so you can pretty much hit any apex you're trying to hit. It also feels like what a sports version of a car should feel like. You've got racing style seats, the exhaust gurgles at low speed. And there are some lovely little details that remind you you're in an Abarth. You've obviously got the badge here, you've got a boost gauge there, which seems ridiculous in a 1.4, but it really just helps you feel like you're driving something a bit more special than a normal 500. And to be honest, you are. The 1.4 turbocharged engine with a manual 5-speed gearbox produces 145 bhp and does 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds. That's enough to leave its main rival, the Up GTI, in its wake. While I won't be able to demonstrate it because I'm in the UK as opposed to Germany, the car maxes out at 140 miles per hour, which is enough to leave 60% of the cars on the road in its dust. And if you did want to go a bit wild, there are versions called the Pista and the Turismo that have 163 brake horsepower, which I think is a bit excessive. It's pushing you into a range of kind of competition that I don't think a car like this can compete with. You're talking 25,000 for those models. There's even 2 more higher spec versions. One's called the Competizione and the other one is called the SAS. And they both have 178 bhp, which I'm not going to say is excessive. Power is good, but it pushes you into a range of cars that can it compete with? You're talking 25 to 30,000 for those models, and you can get a whole lot of car for 25 to 30,000 pounds. Now, I would go with this one. This is the 595. It's kind of the lower spec cousin of the Competizione, but it's perfect. I don't think you need anything more. It puts a smile on your face constantly when you're driving. And I think, as I say, if you go to the high spec realms, you're going to be dropping a lot of money for a car that's only very marginally better than the one I'm driving now. If you are a proper petrol head though, and you are looking for the highest spec version of the Fiat 500 Abarth, the Competizione and the SAS both have slip differentials. So apparently it's grippier through the corners, it sends power to the right wheels and helps with understeer. Again, if you want to spend 25,000 on what is a Fiat 500, be my guest, but this would be the version I go for. One benefit that I'm sure is universal across all models is the height of this thing. It's a very tall car, and some people say because of that the driving position is a bit awkward or it doesn't feel natural. One of the things that you do benefit from though is immense visibility, and as I've said before, that really helps with placement of the car. Also means you can fit 4 people in it, average adults, quite comfortably. I think if you're talking kind of 6'5", you're probably going to be struggling, but there's quite a lot of headspace even in the back. But the fact it's tall gives you the benefit of a very open and airy space. It feels spacious even though the car itself is very small. It's perfect for village life when you're squeezing down narrow little British streets. I've also seen so many of these in kind of the streets of Monaco in cities because people just like the sporty nature of it, but the fact it's so small you can almost place it wherever you want. But enough of the boring stuff, I want to show you its party trick. And the thing that's been putting a smile on my face all weekend, I feel like a little boy. There's a button here on the dash called Sport, and when you press it, the revs drop, the dials stop, you get an instant boost and you're going faster. It is such a fantastic little feature that just constantly makes you smile. Normally in cars you have to kind of deal with drive select, dynamic, eco, sport, comfort. With this it's just normal or sport, and everything changes in the car. Everything feels tighter. Oh, it's just such a great little feature that really does add to kind of the feel-good factor of the car. For example, oh no, someone's about to overtake me. Sport button. Oh look, he's going really slow. I need to overtake. Sport button. Oh my god, I absolutely love this. Hey Lil, look at this. Look at this. Sport button. It just is such a feel-good factor, and that's the point of cars like this. You don't want to be messing around finding sport features or sport settings and lowering the suspension. One button, bang, I'm in sport mode. It is one of the best features on the car, and I know I'm probably coming across like a juvenile right now, but the idea is to grow old and not up. You want something like in a car like this that makes you feel like a little boy or little girl. It just feels so good, and it constantly makes you smile. Right, I've calmed down. So there we go, the Abarth 595 based, of course, on the Fiat 500. Now, I said at the start this was going to be quite a one-sided review because I'm absolutely in love with this thing, but for the sake of good motoring journalism, let me point out one more problem. Driver side sun visor, no mirror. Now, I don't know if that was a Abarth decision or Fiat's decision. Perhaps you can let me know in the comments if that's universal across all Fiats, but did they assume the driver isn't as vain as the passenger? I can assure you in this case that is not the case. Plus, I've not had a haircut for about a year because of lockdown, so what are you doing? But other than that, I really want one of these cars. I'm obviously going to give it back to my boss on Monday, and really I don't want to jump in it again for temptation of getting one myself. But there we go. I hope that's been an eye-opener for you, because these things are brilliant. See you next time.